Ozioma ADAKABRI FRIMPONG MANSO wajina konya bebiewu
Ya mama home na ya mama tenase ye free neat 100.9 FM so ene se ye ba mana so yi ene ye benada kuta nsabo so me na ye womin ne da etoso enum afi empinu aduonu emienu na mame se abodonko apa ho meet edu ensia ai na me manti dwumadie na nke ne benan adie nyina biamse 1 mame biam akwafo ana wotena se ana oso ofa wadawroma mati akire nti hwe akire mame am se ja me ofa ase a me dowo na wo se men hwe akire ma wo a me yeden nti yede na me ne ayewu nua no majale osai agyeman the utility ai aye the maestro ono so ebeka me ho na yetimi ahwe akire production ni as usual panyini kwadwo da me ado ne sini na so na abuna frema bankro woni nana ya asafo ena wo mo so no social media handles wo mo hwe atoto ede amayen nana akua aye afriye ono so o siesie mema ne mienu kama ni nyina mu nie pasida empama engineering group engineers ni ho a enkanya ne se me kasa kura wote menin na aye bibibie ho engineers aye atuagbo worker atie ko na najare na abuaje ada sankroma enso yesanem ne se sempro na facilities for no there na aye big solo dada yaw ana Godfred your friend you brana ape mapuna ana aye DJ Bosco na meals nso yasanem ne se tai ana ye de tenasi adawrumo enen nsema ho no edoso na Ghana mampanyini oni ni minister for trade wa mo akoshia businessmen abebu sase on the document no na e was a finance minister ekasa na trade minister ekasa na mampanyini akasa na say open discussions under the auspices of investment promotion council for itinka yo fi grant ekasa na kenofurata akasa na Alan Chamatin akasa na pengana mampanyina akasa ebusa se na kenofurata no wen ade ne buafu ana majale
papa
GBK fue GBK fue uja fanu mame ne dia wo manim no te se do mo furu kwa bipo 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 se dog bipo enti ni nyina ne se kusa bipo so hono ebipo ahodo a ewo oma we semu se kwa bipo no na wo kan so ho na abipotua so ho
abipotia
na afi nso so no onya nwoma so ene de he
odwanyo ma ho na we no esisi no awasi esisi no
awadrum praye so no
wadrum praye so na ho no kwa yetibie
we yetibie ada owura na so de na pese oken ade na pese oken bedi akofie no esi yetibie na se esi ye venison praye so
esi yetibie
bedi akodi na free making
bedi akofie ndi wo ka number 1 wo fu yetibie bepona
hey
ana ye no na wo ka
she me ka papa bedi akopa wo no osi kwata sisi ho no no atia na ni maidie eblanes me chiao me ka me nyabo din na ni papa din na mabo etu ka bedi akodi a bedi akokota se na esi wo no ye dantia enya abrosan so
okay
bedi akokota se no esi hifa esi price na se yetibie
eno de me ni ba bi esi o
so we ni fa no so
wo free tibie na ana
wo free tibie eba ye wo free enkoko eba no set tibie ne dikan
tibie ne dikan so wo fa ha
na ayem price so na to aso
yes and price so
sound it hospital ni se
A hospital no TB.
So no. Iti ufri hospital wuni efense wuni price hin ni fie ho.
Emini ho pa.
Isi hifa.
Ahwa ndi emini ho. Price hin ni fie no. Ahwa okay, ahwa em price so.
So on wasem. Aha.
Ana mayira.
Aha. Ufri eye price su krom ba atibie na di kan ana sem price ni di kan.
Ufri price so a.
Ai.
Over me
ekuro ni mfimfin na wusani aba eye nkokọ no. Ekuro be na di kan.
Go na di kan e TB. So ufri price dey TB ni di kan.
Eti TB eye ahimfie no. So won say sinifa no so.
TB ahimfie oni fan so.
Ena enti ensuo na etware mu no. Ensuo na eho abakwasem ne san.
Offend me nim.
Unim.
Ebe.
Hey. Unim se ensuo no. Yemfa mu ntwa no nsia. Unim.
Ebe me nim.
Hey, na emu na unim se yawe.
Awon mu hwi mu nam, emu nam de mate se yen hwe de.
We nyina da. Hey, na me pase. Woni nko no ma bi ho. Se bo no nsia fa mu kokotwa hwe.
Na ne wo ho. Ene.
Wo be ki achinyi.
Me nyi achinyi. Bibi sasa
no ma no we nyi ho achinyi da. Ati ana.
Okay. Edu Friday to be much ro yi. Sa ma vo yi body spa.
Oh sa.
Omu yi so a ye wo de omu di sane dey no problem. But the omu dey besan ya.
Etunya twa so wi a. Afe na wo ba bedi akofie ne si mbu isibonkum so. Eye yellow, eye dentia, etete no na eno no ne edan ya na efe pa wo.
Oh yes, okay.
Ne na eye ne ba bedi akosampon. Adaroma. Tata bu pedru ato nkran ha se na wonya bi nto a. Ji bedi ako brothers. Ha nto kwa ba bia na mobile na go na ye jai no. Ho na bedi ako brothers. Iti asantefo nyina fra asante bada am hotel. Obi e pedru ato a iso ko bedi ako brothers wo.
Okay.
Papa no eni papa. Say ya kachira ADAKABRI sem say on fiafia yi no homan on fiafia homan na me hu se ekofo on so word no. And as bedi akosampo no say papa say ya fiafia ho. Oh, you were great personalities wa.
Oh yes.
Na Ghana mampanyini. Wakwa share business executives.
Yeah.
Industry captains. Na on the paper no. GIPC panyini yofi na ekasa. Yofi kasa for brief comments.
Yeah.
10-15 minutes. Now the finance minister akasa brief comments 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
Now the trade minister Eswa kasa brief comments 15 minutes. Na Ghana mampanyina ba be kasa 25 minutes. Now the na open discussion. Finance minister and vice president no more.
Ade me nim dia obi se woman ko bia na.
Woman make say. Woman make bi.
Woman ankasa.
No woman ni hobby nti no more way. Ade finance minister ne bu afu ana.
When dey your friend na ebisa no.
Ne bu afu.
Nti on paper and the next ankom.
Because you said no share a finance and economic planning so. Ni nyina wo den say.
Yeah.
And na ne papa e pen so. Na JH Mensa. And share a finance and economic planning. Ebufuo ni ntokwa sei and ye chie mu ma wo. And ne papa fa planning and JH Mensa fa eti me che say ada ne bu afu ana.
Baba we dey mean chiro.
Na wo na betimi aka. Aka che say dey bi o wa me ka yi wani na de na anwenwe na anwenwe.
We dey mean chiro.
Me ka na anwenwe. Say na dey ntina yakotwo ne din so wo ba no wa ma me kasa. A graphic na me hwa de.
A graphic in there wa.
Na che say utum se mpanifo so so ho papa. Me nua ma me scare na ba. Kofi nsia poku. Ina farmer no timbi. So na magdan so timu bi. Siawa Japan na on so timbi. So na emu odeye. Akubi me na amotobi no on so timbi. E ba akubi ne hu ye machine no timbi minka. U betimi ni skani atwema nso.
Ade wa ede.
U skani betimi ni skani atwema nso.
Ana no mo kan de.
U betimi ni skani atwema nso. Ne hu ye machine enso so no che se me kasa be ne twema nso a. Made for. No timbi. And na Ghana mampanyini wade ato Ghana industry captains, business executives. They are not the ato manim.
Oh, somebody point there. Watch us and na be support to omo.
Asam ne poa no.
Na ban be support to omo. All the needed support to be
Ya de be mo omo.
Womo here be no. Na ban no I ready.
Trade minister no. The opening comments yentie kakra.
Okay.
Yentie trade minister no opening comments kakra. Ache say we reference to John Kofour Penso. Eye cabinet. Na ye pe support the ama business no. Eye mampanyini ya wate so na nadwi. Na wono na o support no na o te ase. It is an another say obabua businesses na o wogidie se obetimi aboa me entie.
Okay.
Let me start first, Mr. President, by thanking you most profoundly for taking time off your very busy schedule to join us in this breakfast meeting. I know personally that your commitment to private sector development has never been in doubt. I recall the days when we served in the cabinet of a former president, President Kufuor, when I used to make my very fierce advocacy in cabinet for support for the private sector development. Mr. President, as the foreign minister, was one of the few ministers who at that time first understood what I was talking about and indeed was really committed to supporting me in my work. The content of our industrial transformation is so comprehensive that it is an entry point for those of you in the private sector to use that as the basis for diversifying your portfolio. We've also now identified 10 new strategic sectors to diversify the economy away from
Enti, wauno, Marjorie.
Yeah, over.
Said 10 new strategic anchor points, no?
Yeah.
Uni scare for watching us so has to wait me any scare for all.
Waba, sir.
Also, when you demonstrable track in business. And I actually was a quenya no any. That's our 10 winning.
There be Joe Obobosoniti.
Sir.
You who are points.
But at least wasn't anybody so able to say. And MPP beto a year. IMF program. Number 2 IMF program no. 2015. And almost ebeto no and almost extended no.
Yeah, call 20.
And the bass other no mobile no ma ending almost extended no. In fact they came out in 2019. So no. Yentie as we came out as Ghanaians.
Yeah.
Na a normal to say within 3 years yes I could be him. Yentie no.
Circumstances in which we found ourselves were very difficult. Low or stunted growth, high inflation, high debt, all the indicators of an economy that is in severe distress were apparent at that time. But the point is that we did something which probably we've not explained quite, I would say, eloquently to people. We were in an IMF program when we took over. We decided that we had no choice but to complete the program. But once we took the decision to complete, our strategic objective was to exit. Because again, there's no evidence where the IMF itself, by its program, can create prosperity for you. So IMF comes in purely for stabilization, for balance of payment support and liquidity support. So whilst we agreed to remain with the program, we tried to work ourselves out of the program. And that's what we did. So again, the evidence is that within 2 years, we're able to meet all the conditionalities and the requirements for the program. And we're able to exit with our chest out. I remember Madame Christine Lagarde, very uncharacteristic of the World Central Bank, IMF, the World Bank, the IMF is the World Central Bank. She actually was praising us when we were exiting. But I'm making this point because whilst we agreed and decided that we would keep to the program through fiscal consolidation and prudent expenditure management and control, we decided also at the same time to embark on an aggressive transformation program. And it's important that we understand that. Whilst we were ensuring that we achieve fiscal consolidation with the IMF program, at the same time, and it needed a lot of courage, that whilst you are doing that, you at the same time decide to embark on a transformation program. Because if the transformation does not occur, you go back to IMF. You come back to square one. And to get into the substance of a transformation program, it requires a lot of money. There is no way you can achieve transformation without resources. And that was one of the main reasons why we had no choice but still to borrow to fund the transformation agenda that we were pursuing in parallel. And so it's clear, agricultural transformation, planting for food and jobs, planting for export and rural development. If you come to industrial transformation, a very comprehensive program, 10-point agenda for transformation. Maybe we won't have the time to talk about it. Maybe during question time we can get into it. But the content of our industrial transformation is so comprehensive that it is an entry point for those of you in the private sector to use that as the basis for diversifying.
Majali, a Minister for Trade,
yes,
and Industry, Alan Chamatin, and say Enra, Onigana Mampenini, Omunina, Echo, a GIPC program, Ekokushia, a Ghanaian industry captains, executives. Na present no assure the opportunities that abound. Say omobitimi ediadikman. Quite significant. Said the trade minister and country say present no danasi. Send the business schedule so ojai de buy. How reassuring would it be to business executives? Say present no ebabet na no mababekasa.
Oh yeah, encouraging. Say also maybe an better chira the ankrankrefu nyumen and the private sector no and yet me the pushy or minor man conkai pines. But it's very encouraging. It's a bema one more bay rest assured. Say when you media who do one more baby yuma or my baby or many mono. And they have the support.
Now it's your trade minister now or say 2019 now MPP at the Ghana for free IMF no mono. Nature and canoma ye Emma a hiama say yetiminya sikani yetimide ye transformation. As our transformation agenda no. We hear sikana de and when to me and transformation no. Ubasa go back to IMF.
IMF, yes.
So unso cancer. Just when to me and transformation ubasa go back to IMF. Na eye sika enso so ena ye de ye. Ena okan no ma mienu aban no say agric planting for food and agriculture. So no. Yenya bibidi na agri businesses eba krasa. So bia ho hare no. And for san can say eye industrial transport na wiase nyina what digitized economy and a digitalized country be that as opposed to industrialized country.
Oh, it's an industrialized country there, yes. So say you say a man who do be brain or industrialization at Pijama. Industrialization
apagya wo.
Yes. It's any day wo. Amaye tutu mpon no bebre say industrialization.
Industrialization apagya wo.
Na
digitalized.
But they've moved to digital. Who say digitalization?
Income na.
Digitalization there. Say who say ye ko abefo kwan so no. Who say ye hwe the fourth revolution na ye wo mu na. Abefo kwan so ene ye de no ma bebre. Nti oman no boost to.
Nye na obi ade ntaku nsempu akwakoto momo. And digitalized economy na di e-levy, digitalize agea, ono to so ahwehwe kwan foforo a de memfam sika no kura so nkoto. Enti make say wo maami what kumasi dwomu ni dwetire ebona bosom na won say ana bomusa na ebona senimu sa so ana tomatoes sika no wachechire no boa ana nyado sika no wachechire ne boa ana won say ebia de wachechire ne boa ena wode abona sinim enti say obeyi bi di amawa onim which particular one obeso yi ma no edumon say osane aboso no a na wapiapia no obeso oyi we ya no say da binye we no ope no na wayi we say obeyi ni makuma na say akwala abone bi so ofie ho a na wahunu say de maame no say de osi de echechira aboso no
adwade fosi kan de
ati we de oyi say na otwetwum
adwade fosi kan de
Angola boni wo via na otwetwum na otwetwum
me so a obaya no ni sika no obekọ no pansamosa utimi kan ka ase na o se o mo fanko
sa
oh yeah obaya
sa
itu so wudru railway so a railway so abrosan is so sane dia be papa chiri ba mi ensa no obaya
ekrobe so railway
Kumasi
we
what's it crew
aja mamuza railways let me hunu se obaya hey
Kumasi railways so wotra asafo se wo kwa wotra asafo na wani chire keje ano nti wo fa so railways no wo sabengum so no
obetumi afani fa so wani chire keje ti aja
kese na ni mo asa akwakofa ni mo so akwakofa
na wasa akwakofa say ebudi ayi na
the first branch no unifaso na ozo ofa unifaso na okọ railways no obenkum so obensa brosan adia baby adia pharmacy sa brosan na me so adia paper be chi ba me ya friend obaya
I wanna emse fijase for
no mo je
that net no honest labor na se fijase transporter honest labor
otongo
o
de ko Burkina Togo Ivory Coast ngo
timu kanya
ye timu kan ni sika o say maka wi we no ma wi
e na ni papu sika ni bisa
mo fa ase ne nko
mo fa nko hin
acha say yem fa nko ye say ye kan e ka te say 10 cities ne
mo fa nko si wo
o say yem fa nko ne nko che say ya tena sika no ga say sika no kan o bre
ye cha na timi nya be sen
me timi nya be 500
500 50 cities ana
there be 500 Ghana cedis na some na make
yi abe asem na woken
some make current status asem na make yo
and just still and winning sky
na why na ezi miniska
sir
why na ezi miniska
what say say
well current status asem na make no
eti
ita do fo nsi kan de wo mo hyehyɛ pa bo onim bibia no
na omo ye clever very very clever we clever okoba wonim bibia e bia ode beko na mebusa say finance minister di ntina wan kwa de na se
wo kwaji hindi
mabusa
and rhetoric
mabusa ni je bi buafu ana
okay di ebisa no
de buafu we dwade amom yen konkopa na
kire na betuma ba say bibi nso sanka no
na we need deputies
president ya where
na we need deputies
o say events bi say ni die ya say
na say conspicuous absence say no ya na enwanwa kakra afam ya twire odin ye dan what deputies eti comments kakra say yen konkon assure business executives industry captains and also so wadwa hey na when come president rank obetimi adwa sa we mi kan we mi kan yesema me nkan panyini frɛ ne brɛ yesɛ utim sɛ sad days no atwam So the days of the late Kwajuban Redu as a finance minister. Even Nana Safokura was very good. The obey's plain idea. Don't know. And when if he imagine if he
what the not to one yes, and it's your own.
I don't say I besin neno. Number for 17 pages of question and answers. Me my catch up me a PhD in economics.
Questions no a comma wine.
As I my questions to be show. And more questions to be show. Hey, won't questions abano.
17 questions.
So I'm cast one questions no my certain be boost our one. 15 pages. So no. I'm say the frequently asked questions. Okay. As government engages the IMF for a possible funded program. So,
yeah.
It remembers a question now was year no.
Hey, Samom. Me I mean, yeah,
question number 1. Also, what role does the IMF play in member countries?
Where there's a massive questions where there and questions.
And your questions as well.
Where there questions. No, number 2 here. Okay, randomly pick a 3. Sounds here 15.
There'll be 15 pages.
15 pages.
Questions in your friends 38.
Aye.
What was it? Yes, and drop one my woman per economics. Alright, Thomas Kusibuafon. Or your chief executive officer.
Yeah.
Public sector reform. And then also or your economist. Now, it drew some pompon so we are not to fear Yansan. Why na asamono obeti me dia ba fom amaye nyina yate ho ase ora Kusibuafo ya mo ha edo ba ni TFM so
e yo so me
Pafo do na wiye ho te sen
nyame ado ye
na 2019 we are told by the trade minister Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen in the presence of the president of the republic abra womani business executives industry captains Asia and Nura at the breakfast meeting. I say we came out of the IMF program in 2019 with our chest out. Na ne here say you transform. If you see me and transform one, you better go back to square one. The transformation here sika. And I was say ye de eye. So some now catch industry captains no. And ne ubesusu say e dey na asande yakọ IMF.
Yo, but I say, na mention what you for you. The whole this no credit or kind na unim say aband the main purpose of government is to facilitate the whole system for a big takeoff by private sector. Na operation emra. The government itself, and the government machinery, including civil and public servants, they are facilitators for private sector growth. The Ubu minor and to kick off their HSA member, more letters a member, Nabako had it. It will be a private sector. And to me, I'm more that you say, I am one of the jobs and 1 month on a taxes, no fine. In your edifice or more. Well, when she said, I'm a year. Why to me, I know Yama, revenue, no, ama, Quacopa, and Samaba. You know, kind of there, Minia, no cleaning. A 7 no one, Samoa, a binding free IMF no 2019 more said the war can by 2018, latter part, near no IMF for you. 2019, yeah, nature said, we better content 10. Yeah, na figures, F, inflation, interest, reserves are buying no air building. International credit rating agencies said we see home are buying and you group any balance of trade said the any cotton war. I'm on it for a very long time. Here register deficit balance of trade. Yeah, near cotton, a drama. But I feel na atenia, the cotton, a drama, no, Sikai, yes, a draw some snake, a coffin, amount over $1 billion. It will be a sitting council. Let's just say, a idea, Ubetimia introduce a number of transformational programs. And none one phenomenal. And libre mambo na intensity no ye very very great. Na abaya ni abrese afina one district one factory no honsem no ebe ye kuma pa afina na ba ne dwene power or the private sector ebe partner in the pa no ne the industrial players na ubodi no afi ya transform economy no ya job creation no ebe free economy ba ne possibly kra no abano kra no be offload public sector workers be kra or mo be ko e be kra ho offload or mo an be jaja ya kakra automatically into the private sector. Let's just say a free abine in terms of public sector wage no bill no but we and kakra this council so about the revenue above way of taxes. That's how we boost our economic growth. That's what you want to hear. Sana net here, say abanu program no pa test in 2018 or 2017 no crowd test TB 2018 or test TB. Emma Ogu a bit me you might be free mono there. Nanka ye tears no. So a number of laws to crowd were here ye be quite great a big crop development authorities here a buyer a ban year fiscal consolidation here and also so nothing fiscal responsibility council so establishing when the one FBB across the country including dams now by any average a person for year. Iminia Sana Ekusi a pepper said the million penny alarm computer I cannot prepare.
Na enum nkyeremu no de to aso ese agana mampanyini mede wase se wudni bre na nso so industry captains business executives nsema ye no mo beka ho hia wonti no na watimi age bre na waba na so beka yi a eye papa jonkofo penso no na that time fierce word we use and fierce advocacy for the private sector na wo wudni obia ese na few ministers na ese wo ti ase na wo support o me nti enei enye me nwanwa se wo no wo ti ase na wo beboa to underscore the fact say president no is in sync say obeboa and the two aso kan say your transformation e be intervention be say in agric food planting for food and agric etimi food for jobs etimi edibaye na so industrial transformation 10-point anchor program a ohwe ede ebaye notwithstanding agric any manufacturing our crowd trade surplus ya register over $1 billion in 3 successive years ede ebiem na aginsemu
they say the aginsemu and say enam yare be a friend of COVID ever unanticipated by the whole world. Not even the advanced economy, no. Ekura ninya adin bi say yare sabit me a see abese viase sa. Not even that magnitude. Yare there. Yene yare the free tete. In super so kra na yare o. But to that magnitude no there. Nipa anwene ho ana anwene ho sa sese na yare no beba ye friend COVID-19 a utimi dwadane adada ntoma oye no akodan ho sei oye no akodan ho sei okoye no adan ho sei ana kwaye ya oye no achange no de afa ha oye no achange no de afa ha so titi yare bi a eti yasi nyina America kwa Donald Trump created $124,000 a month in America on the average afei COVID ne ba within a short period menua na this transformation come to a halt na afei American for ahyɛ aseɛ apply for unemployed benefit any allowance ya na kyerɛ sɛ ɛno nso so ɛde ma wɔ saa deɛ no baeɛ no kakra no ɔne ne mu no ɔde nam China na bɛpie Europe yɛsi na yadeɛ deɛ yadeɛ ni American force kura yɛ China for yadeɛ mu nkɔ so na mu nyɛ adwuma wo na teɛ si America na ne nam South America hɔ nom no na via South Africa ha Ghana asɛ bɛba asɛ bɛyɛ sɛ na afei ateɛ si wɔ man Ghana na afei wiase nyinaa ya ubia ti ba saa no economic activities globally came to a halt. Economy the size of Japan and half of Germany put together, it was that is the size of the economy. Yeah, you lose here around 2021 alone. About 3 to 4 times gross domestic product of Africa. And you lose here. And we call people too. And I say, Ubu Okra was a demi pie. Na fear what the stand so compared drone 10 would nipa sebeye nipa betimi apie. So it a idea a hard brain papa. Honestly, it creates a whole lot of problems and disruption. And the friend of supply chain disruption. A say near baby Emma will be caught will be ma and the share what is to see our kind in a what your born has no. I mean, we did a good now born to it is Sana a cocoye. I mean, we are seeing you try album. Nothing Emma airline be crew. It is a say a cobasa no, that they are much abba. Ghana so come home. When we are seeing any move, and I say Ghana crowd there, you couldn't get to our there and cow papa. The Kumasi no ne and then cry there. Yana who say lockdown the airby. And on that term larger Kumasi airby. Yeah, man for it is attempt in egg. It is also it is yabo. Emma productivity conform. Emma Ghana growth rate and a year 7.7. Young woman in the corner. A pape. Emma be 0.4%. 1% people. If it's 7%, the drop to 0.4%. Meaning as I would get a percentage drop on one. Now, calculate here. Meaning it is about 1,000% drop every year. Yeah, just say a delay by 2021. After the end year, no. Next is said, yeah, what 2016 move, Pepper, 2017. I think. Say ya pap yanka say the power phone yare abo every night abeka be say a quarter of your size and wait every week
e just ya kan say what sorry every wunya so
what sorry every wunya so afi na ukura poma that dey Germany ogro negative open mbere ohu oko hate negative 5%, Japan ko negative 6%, South Africa negative, Nigeria negative, US drop deep, China also drop all over the world. Only about 36 countries in positive. Ghana can't hold there, and so some positive for no meaning 0.4 no, say that's all for. Ghana just a hard dream pay. It is a and or the Biakwan. Revenue every by way of taxes. Yatoto stores. A brochure ya tutum anypan demo tiamu bue. It's around that time, no. So they printed money. Let me tell everybody honestly, they printed fiat money. They have done quantitative easing to the tune of $17 trillion US, according to former World Bank agent task force head, Jeffrey Sachs. And on the building, almost reserve system. A teacher be at the member of Funo 77 or my yambre to say your and then Kurami can say, and Rakra, that when we depended to be an awful celebrity, they gave people all $8,400. Go buy it. Also, pretty 1.3 trillion. If you want that, you go. And no,
Now,
Argentina, I am a punya, Minia.
Such a profound point, yeah, what make ye say, America for a print sika trillion a cheap. You buy the class by what print be warm sika de my young crofo. Any Ora Thomas Kusibuafo, a chief executive officer, public sector reforms, no science economist. Any edit young commerce, a bit media number form near emotions in a free moon. Near Jesse, a better young ones here. What's the America for printing sika near chair, yeah? Yeah, has an embassy a quan say, he bet me a printing cities in the chair, dear.
Minia, what they are no, yeah, very top. What they are no, what currency. Any internationally convertible. South America, they are no plenty, you know. Or the back and how to meet the better near man. Who go do no, and no timber no, and no cocoa no, to meet the Toby. And now, also so jet. One city, oh, they are print two city no. Many need say what they call Egypt, you cry a budget. And I say Kenya no. It could what will that yeah, met here. It's a currency, no, and yet internationally convertible. And our economy non so no. So the city no. I feel we free COVID muaba. And to say why are you Ghana against and you after Kumasi G near you the Kufie 2019, put out 2015, and the 2018 year you were with any the whole call. Udru pampa so na minua abobo ya artist a bepia wo ama wasa akobutu ho ya tete watorumu
I just we double silence no
ansa na wose esa do koji ho a unuru fie kura etigana na nuru fie ena abobo ya artist sa be no 2020
na we chete de ye pese enye ho ntiase ne say yesika nye convertible currency ntino na ye ya yesika sidi no eni nti yentimi ntwa bi ngumu enni
uche gugu kura no nya dia ebetimi aboaje so back na we productivity ese pa wanya productivity amuvu ankosura the way ene currency ubetwa gumu no ebe match a ubema broad money no akosoro papa na akoye tete ani isi economics no a yesi the inflation ba ene say more money chasing fewer goods in simple terms, you know. And to understand the inflation, Beba. Mugabe tribe, Zimbabwe President Mugabe F tribe, Minya and consider ye. Ghana tribe leader.
Because the opinion and one tias and say, Jeffrey Sachs, it me catch there, say, and America for be a trillions of dollars a dear gumo. Man Joe Biden cross will be a dear gumo. Not the 80 which they mun say. Yeah, the almost the convertible currency. Yeah, the answer convertible currency. Now, Busan say, cocoa cran, a walk aquatua. Yes, can be when the first see this in cocoa, Ninike, Nacoton cocoa, no so, a man on Energiska fabric.
I said, not that be a yano. All the dollars at the bar, they are translated to cities. Not just a productivity, not productivity, abandon. Now, also when your dollars, now they are good or reserve. Yeah, central bank. With the Guwa, now central bank na amount, city equivalent. Now they are going to Cocoa Ninika. A cocoa needed to have aid. And now say over foreign reserve no. Now protect your currency. Now foreign reserve no. I act as an insurance for the city no I go out no. That's just a depreciation in member.
Okay, me government of Ghana. Ana omo compile eye dossier woni edema wo monkrofo a yate agumont so say wo monkonko yi questions ibia no me for de copy kura edema na question 3 no ana o Ghana for no abusa ye ho say Ghana government penifo na abusa ye ho say why has Ghana decided to seek support from the IMF mamenka ne brofo ne chire mu fabra from ne nyina yantibi o say Ghana is seeking IMF support for 3 main reasons. Reason number 1 was in the here pan to a bold wedding. balance of payment support. It the first one, balance of payment support. No, anything.
Yo, the area say no, I want no. Yedija, who here foreign currency or international transactions. Who them see a cofa oil, but your cocoa fed diane, you be wheat, no, the very pan, your granta, your sans of crackers, ya well with him. And then your man, dear children, and coconam, and then she tower, no, and your men. And no, we see the no, you have cook room on Cotta there. You have the dollars and you have the and to do see the look of $50. Now they are funny and no, if you can or say your time, you will say your deal, you will know about father. They may be aware that dollar, no.
Wait. Yeah, you know, come in a nature.
Hello?
Aha.
See the noir. I had the pen cop a drama so see the noir go bottom. What they confess near my or China back. I just see the no at the costs of dollars. Nothing what they call. Now dollars, you know. A bar, central bank, no, Ejibu. Now I act as insurance at their mobile. Now what will be your dollars to do one? Now currency no. Now one thing, a war. The quala bribu no ana ye share yente kubu no pato nteda. Wa sha te kubu a. Ye said the war and tenu no man ho ye den no. E bi a cement. Ya we tukuru. Ehwe na de ku.
I just would you to say wo share and take kubu a it's against the rules.
Yes, do him say against the rules so. Why anya ne so a enye yi. But we there. It is a catch of America for printing cano. So I say,
How much attend kubu?
What would say, what would you look kubu or pampe? So, I was in your now, and now, woman, yano, and who could a woman is there? Or what catch it? Says cano make just a German for any other divorce and France and no woman in so music convertible. You're from advanced economy. Come African Central Bank. Let's just say, yeah, call IMF, near African Central Bank. Yeah, confirm. Kanama. I think the president, I can't want to Kanama. African Central Bank, yes, and Luby, and my IMF, and the World Bank, who's almost so advanced economy, a bowl with big drink at the bar. And Luby, go with the because who be almost ye be. Almost Ghana 1 billion when Nanuya Obekaya Parliament is Finance Minister Emebu contact. And no sana net yet. Almost brave. It was put the ban to protect your currency. Yes, your $dollars Libya nearly a big go. So you could acquire the account. Any animal from an on it, no Municipal remittances. Maybe a Saba big go. Your toy or no near the $dollars Libya Baby go. And the dollars, you know, and see to paying and not to protect your local currency. It's Mra and Sabiano. As it to so I you see so. It's $1 no Kua. Now see the no so and yet. It is already BBC. Let's see the no effort to do. Dollar no quarter to do. Saying in a toba. Nothing will be a home. And there were rating agencies to almost so petty tax them. As if you move, they use some figures, no, and whom reserves, no, and then now so we are saying, the benefit, a bit moody, and then over cake, standard and poor. Woman, you know, who the air cost almost make us almost petty tax, and so who craft facts, no. Nobody has to just say, can't you? Dollars ya or foreign currency. I don't know. 80 or yeah, ADSC or the free AAA. As I said, the yeah, okay, good. AAA country. So they call AAB. I feel no, they are called BB. Therefore, they are B minus. afei no ɔde abɛ B plus afei na kɔ B minus afei no ɔde abɛ C no ɔde akɔ C minus afei no ɔde ɔde afrɛ no tank kwasankobi eti moment ya eti tega na baa ebetu yanhwɛ yie bɛti atɔ kwasankobi
ɛno ne balance of payment support na yɛsɛ yɛkɔpɛ no
yɛkɔpɛ ba pɛ fombu afei yɛapɔmpi bi agu hɔ a na afei emu ayɛ dɛ na si di n'anya ahoɔden na currency depreciation no so ate etu sɔre a bia si di no ahoɔden kwa na ɛkɔ fam no ɛso bɛte ɛna wɔkɔfo so a wɔn atɔ bond wɔ ha Ghana bond ne bi
ɛyɛ debt instruments no
debt instruments no ɛmorɔfo bi abɛtoto bi yɛ a wɔn tɔɔyɛ no is dollar term anaasɛ yɛsi di koraa no a ohun sɛ sɛbi wo yɛ ada ne kwasanko bi a na de panic withdrawal aba
ɔyɛ sika akɔ
capital
flight na ne nyinaa yɛ twe kɔ
ne yɛ atwe kɔ sɛ nkurɔfoɔ ne yɛ wu ɛti sɛ obi yare a ɔbɛwuo na apɛ sɛ ɔfɔ soro no a ɔyɛ wɛlɛ ma wɔ wɔnhwɛ deɛ a wɔgye sɛ tɔ asɛm aba wɔn sɛ deɛ esi teɛ no eti wɔnhwɛ ma ne ngu
nti ne bi kura na meka sɛ no na oni capacity over the mental faculties kura so ayɛ sɛ
yɛ very good wo deɛ ɔyɛ lawyer ti wo pɛpɛɛpɛ eti nkurɔfoɔ na ɛbɛba abɛyɛ panic withdrawal no nso hu sɛ nkurɔfoɔ na kò nya sika ni bi aba ɛte sɛ sɛ bɛde ɔdo wo ka wo ate sɛ ni loto namba abɔ nkɔgye sika no koraa na w'ani agye anaa yɛbɛtua ne ka
na kyɛ sɛ confidence ne yɛhwehwɛ amena bɛyi
confidence mikro mu asante atwuma subu a yɛbɔ afɔde a Roman ne Methodist foɔ ɔbobɔ no koko brɛ
ɔmatoto
sɛ farmers ne rate no kɔ soro da wo nsa no obi ɛmmɔ afɔdeɛ
ta wo nsa ɛyɛ July a yɛwɔ mu yi de obiara mmɔ afɔdeɛ
no hɔ kɔtɛm te afɔdeɛ abɔ
yɛ ne nsuo no so totɔ yɛ ni abere a yɛ dodɔ yɛ
ti koko no ba nɔma tɔfo na kyikyiri apa no so a kwadwo yɛ bi apa ɛna so aso bi nsa no kwadwo bo afudie ni ensia wensia ɔne na nkuro nyina
ne kyɛ sɛ ayɛ sɛ wɔkyeakyea so na ɛwɔ ase
na wɔde na ni koko apa no a yɛsi no
wallahi
enti that date laba
enti ɔsɛ ɛyɛ ne balance of payment no wakyerɛ mu ya ɛtɔ so mmienu no ɔsɛ Ghana decided to seek support from the IMF. Secondly, for concessional, cheaper financing to shore up international reserves, stabilize the cedi, continue smooth payments for imports, that is petroleum products, pharmaceuticals, medical equipment, among others, and restore conditions for strong economic growth, in bracket, including support for government flagship programs, for correcting underlying problems. Where's so?
Yes, no. On said the Kika, you know, a baby see horse, a bar, you have a page foreign reserves, you know. Nothing, Yatimi, I import to near maybe a useful essential. You will base essential item in the country, won't be fed room, some cassia. In if I read that productivity, nil. Some interest we are there, we near brute or we near fool. Until maybe I have see our master lie, top petrol, the water. Line of my, yet now all my life and my. What you say? Because so got to be about you say, yeah, Untiana, it just the more, no, I think you do dear.
Aye.
And Sri Lanka, Asan line, India for a gas cylinder, almost in the Namono. There may be Magana. But Nigeria, Thomas and I, top petrol. And yet they are, my life and Abba. Ghana, Cramium with their life, Abba baby. It's Yankee, Sabi, Obia, when you are here, and I said, we shall do it to me, Bricama. So, na you making sure that Nema winning, I bear not free of one toy. Yana say, ye, not some 2 Macau, Nibia, Monday, get you for the current stabilizer. amanfo nyuma omo ye nso mu bepeja omo betuatua tax ni bi ama ye yi levy omo betua omo ehia nipa na adwen abani tirim se amaban kura ye bonsam
se ehia nipa na adwene abani tirim se aban kura sese e wo bonsam
very good
eje so ohia ne na afa ne tirim
eti to mre bi a mitua ni nyina so dem ana ye so de ko se yi so funu hwa ya yi so funu hwa ya yi ye se nyame no nsum no ehia na ehia no na ama wode ho ani bre e kwa kuku so funu so se so fu we de opesi kasem eso so da obenya bi a ne ho be ye de ubonso obetua na ye de na bani bu ye so ya so repani
Yesu ba yeti mu oni ohia nya de po
dabi onya de se yi wa menua no timi dane akoda
ohia ti ma dane akoda na
ahia bi akoda pia disi onu mo na wo so de wo sebe
na ahia wo na yade akura so kakra de no agi mu na wo yire ne koba ansa na wadidi
enya kura no kura de wa hwe yi mpo a ebo no nsi a no numu no akụkọ ya anụ wasọrọ na wo kan sili
sa
untimi nti
emu ayo
emu ya eno de enya adepa eno de pese ye abet
na toso miensa ena eno brofu bi a watwere ha se ye asem ni o se yakọ ayem de nti ase yakọ ayef no ye pe catalytic effect providing catalytic effect of accessing additional financing from third parties, friendly sovereign commercial creditors, including resuming ICM market access sooner than later, facilitating credit rating upgrades. No, mami, yes, we and was say you call IMF.
My always say IMF no bar. Ninya, there's the building reserves no. The best send positive signal. Catalytic effect, they say, a bit too pumping. At the affiliation na makasa fufu bi tete wa standard and poor no ni mudi no mo woni de wo bala o reserves no and international transaction nti IMF wi ba ebe ma wa modern katie bi ama confidence katie bi aba wani mu kure nso o se unhia wo bi a ehia no a wutimi hu hia no firi na nim bia no
we de hu no ana wa hu se bibi ha no
ai me wo fa bi e do be ka wu hu e de be hia no hu ai draw e won anim
ai papa bi soso no wa hafo na okoti koko na afi wode akono a wo kwaji ni sika na okoko kracho no na wakra ne mase wakra ne yire ne mase okoyi ni tiaba e na nkwada bone ba ko wom otete eno anu hu se bia papa baka so okoyi ni tiaba bia no eta agina se wo kwaji koko sika diaba akwada ne yeso betete no otete ne papa iti ni papa ji sika no wa mane papa na mbrechi kura na o se o e ka se na wo ho no mama me se me hwe na menye mra yakwala abone mi koyi miti aba won twama me mafiansa
wo je say you know the positive signal ebeko ama investors ya across the group kura be hu se afi here Ghana when your reserves no omo be hihye for omo niema eyi na eniema ni bi wo ho a se di city no IMF enko ya no mo he na ja IMF he ma wo mu enti enye hu sa na ekwan mu ye enti ube hu se other countries any other communities bia betimi akọ enya kabi sa de abeboa wo ma no yan kan ru de nye IMF edi ebe ye kan ye root eti IMF for the end there for the back for balance of payment support yes ye root ye interchange what is sustaining a programs here wo in ebe here sika concessionary loan it is who friend to mapa na wo shaft ahene mapa na de kokko pie ho a eya kama o ya kwala brem so mu brofidie da ya wa bu brofin na ya wo kokko bite abu brofin no e bono ya tantan tan te se form so fidie ni yi bia o te se bola bet na wo bu afu ko hwe fidie na de be yi kokko bite no oba o tu awon tanu se ya na bite no ejo
na wo de kyerɛ
na wode kyerɛ
ɛgye sɛ o gye ho me na
wogye wo ho bɛdaa na sesei no wo sikasɛm no nya a wokura aburuburo fi ntoma ɛna ade nam na sɛ nneɛma no sisɛ yie sɛ yi a afei wokura kɔkɔ white wahu sɛ deɛ sɛ obi ahyia wo a ɔhu saa sɛ anomaa bɛɛ na ɔyi no ɔhu sɛ yɛ aburuburo straight na wokura aburuburo fi no deɛ a wɔse so no twene ɔyɛ bɔla bɛɛ
enti na kyerɛ sɛ trade minister no ɛka ɛma dispatch ɛkɔɔtu no sɛ IMF no ɛnyɛ wɔn mo na ɛba bɛ create biribi ami adi yie or say IMF itself cannot create prosperity. They come in for stabilization. It not just say IMF no wɔn mo nkyɛnse ban bi ama yɛgyina yie ɛwɔ nkyerɛmu yɛ ade bɛyɛ deɛ na trade minister no yɛ right to ɔka saa.
Yɛ very right. IMF no deɛ yɛ hɔ na yɛ lasting solution ebi fira ba.
Afei mi yɛhwɛ Ghana mpanimfoɔ no abie na wɔn san atwerɛ wɔn question wɔn busa wɔn aho question na wɔn ayi ano ɔse what type of lending will Ghana get under an IMF supported program ɛna oyi no ho ani say government is yet to engage the IMF on the type of support that will be suitable for Ghana. Typically, IMF lending is for balance of payment support. Therefore, depending on the assessment of the macroeconomic challenges, the IMF various lending instruments are tailored to different types of balance of payments need, as well as the specific circumstances of its diverse membership. We not just a balance of payments in Crown. There were several kinds of them, Anna.
Balance of payment there, but Obeshe, what day, if we are here and the call hospital and that's by year. But the baby will say, they be all have attention. So, Oba diagnosed, doctor the back. Said, Ghana, balance of payment ready. Not a banker. Now, the ADAKABRI said, share physical consolidation so social. Put the get taxes. And then I won't be. I won't be taxes. And then what all destinate me? Type of tax to pay and I'll be to me the back. Innovation bank and I'll pay it. Why you be a far better? Whatever I'll be the so possibly you never be, my booty, and also come on. What they are here? I be in Sabiti me as a case. If you were better, we are real. Inflation to say, would deficit as to say, or share interest rate as to say, if the flagship programs, any programs in our room out or not, and no, as to say, the financing as to say, one very better so at the no. And two better than a classic. What such change we are. Now say ye are fine, higher bridges, flyovers, interchanges, and let there. I know there it may be completely out of the script. Yeah, I am no embarrassed. So very I catch say we fatuha, Jessica we, Odia anything. The ancient the ampa, ticket me up the energy sector, a one mono, motion ye. Independent power producers agreement to be a woman maybe $1 billion every year. $16 billion Ghana city. In favor in Moody, agreement you are a cross on our day, Kotobe Kuma, Mono transit, no renegotiating. I want to take so, nay, you say, Nina Bessimia Kosoma, 77. Papa be and not walk and one the same.
Yani Ora Kusibuafu, where chief executive officer, public sector reform, and now Osan ye economist. Na ye and abino edi Obakase dossier bia ye busa frequently asked questions. And no and I say yakron ye yeton economist ye Accounts equal me, make I me second year at the university now. yakopa bibi quantitative methods ibu fu yama mampe lecture na yafe de kin super maame bi mampe na semuda na yade ne twetwe nkomi ensem ni bi na obusa misa kusibu afutie we say how long will it take for the negotiations between Ghana and the IMF to be concluded? And on one side, IMF supported program negotiations take some time to be concluded, depending on the availability of data to assess the macroeconomic situation, the readiness and the suitability of the government's economic program, and nature and feasibility of any prior conditions to be completed by government. Program negotiations can be quick or be protracted for up to 6 months or more. Ghana's 2015 ECF program negotiations with the IMF lasted for 7 months before the program was approved in April 2015 by the IMF Executive Board. Government stands ready to quicken and shorten the negotiation process by sharing relevant data as well as presenting its enhanced economic program that would anchor the supported program. We do not anticipate challenges with the completion of any prior conditions, if any. Yeah, no, what's saying?
No, sir. IMF, no. Just Oba, ya no kukuru bibi, no the above one. Oba, that is what I call hospital. Just so call ya upi wa, yes, you drew, you know. You drew, you know, Ibutao. Ibutao wa, the Tobiribia, and 70 do wa, and not whooping the bitter. It will be if you move Busao. Ubu wa, it in Busano, or then the year in the core, near Busano. And here, walk of fabric, yeah, down, yes, a kicker, Ibia, a sexually transmitted disease. On the year of the Busano, who know about who will be a quarter apart from Iran. Which was a beer was it there? In your sort of here. A bit prolonged matter. To see there be what is that? Maybe I hope I know who sent to Noah. A Bianca that no because the amount not enter. Yeah, okay, said there be near the identity. When Montano go cry, there be.
On Cabby Crash here that.
I mean, you be glad that a bit to cry. What boy, you cried, need 3 days ago. What I got more you could the baby.
Mika se kwa humachin no na yikura no na your friends asubu atre nkwa ne nchen ho na wakwa akọbọ ma me afie epunu mu ama wodi kakra gusu asa na woko
pepe adroba midnight na breakfast supposed to be on your friend 4:30 a.m.
At 4:30 a.m.
Aye.
Oh, yeah, bro. Tegusu tio.
4:30 a.m. It's okay, kind of that's very well. Or see, yeah, any examination really a bear. Who's that? Obu I would make candy yagi more. Someone of the doctor need to move when I was in here. Ubekwa lab test week. Ubekwa lab test week. Ubekwa lab test. A cherry and standard. Doctor let me know who you are. Kura a maybe I bear. But don't call now who data no. The paper needs to see no. Who call inflation. Between man about 7% and 9%. They say a year group 27%. Almost no correct. The deficit may be a 5%. The Passive Fiscal Consolidation Act, that's a fiscal council. And running in any say deficit, you know, they be a number 10%. One say ampa and ampa here no correct. Maybe a growth rate. A 7.6%, a drop to 0.4%. They say, I could do say, they be a woman say, no correct. They be a reserve. They be a group 8 billion. They say, be a big crab, a tia, baby, 8 billion.
It will come with nature when you and it is said, you walk what's not doctor anymore. Oh, few.
Pep, I'm here. I said, okay, Nani, to know if you know. Yes, there's so I can't also. I'm a phone so, and I'm here. Every data be also need from other credit rating agencies, index, mostly trading economies, and conform so. I am a phone so research need be edgy data.
And the nature o si akire say ya wuntimi emra emeto no da were bi
aha meto no da were pepepepe oyi na me kan kiro ma wutie se kusibu afu ya be no kasa me na me sa double as project coordinator for reforms in Ghana ewo weba
oh ye kan yetimi si akire kura afre wo na wonim
ya me tira wo so do ti binim ye koso ukwa oye kwa omuhwem ehu se we nkotompo we ye no kre we ye say give and take ebi amotra ho ebi kura abufu ba me nteme ho ase ba ema mo sore no ma san ya kwaba ebi amoya yi enti ukona wule wo card the way it is na niema ni nyina ye pepepe bia on tan tere
o se na no ye 2015 de no ye edi bosome nso no no de wa ye krado se ono no obehwe ama no ma tumpon abra wode data no ebeto 110
What say ya na IMF kono entity na se eta them so obo so a prepare it what it depends on anytime America for start a person of money every total in disrupted yeah America growth forecast China growth forecast the downgrading no and the bit to say yeah man no grow negative Ghana growth the best equal 7% about 0.4% yeah you who say I no na Sri Lanka for Pakistan and they are in air to brand now about 20 African countries and so I shall see it we say a near main queen and my yena signal and conform what we say it will be a good to miss the idea it Abano SRC gather data okay. It in terms of data delivery honestly I will tell you readily available. Kakra minimum no there. The minimum power is data delivery no there. And you be better. Maybe I the member not any the negotiation of actual items that you been able, especially the social interventions, any phone near mano. Any revenue side, how to bolster revenue generation. Any expenditure cut, a honor no day ascend the back. Maybe a honor day, the 2 Macau, a bit page, and no crano, may expect a EP. Take over the pain to Anna. I been to free education. Meaning, I said, 2017, yeah, IMF the social interventions, not that. And I see.
And Nuntina, or one can say, Busa say, does going to the IMS mean suspension of government programs and expenditures? And it's what the capital no, Abba. And was say the member country has primary responsibility for selecting, designing, and implementing policies to make the IMF supported program successful. This implies that government programs in line with EDP will still go on as planned insofar as it is efficient and does not overburden public finances. Or should I say no?
African programs in the carbon programs, yeah, can because what did I say? And yeah, better for. I make control, sir.
But was it so long as it say a year efficient, now overburden public finances? What does that mean?
So long as any person. And for how to be so. And also better say, what you to be raising additional revenue. It's in America, on the year level, no, who ain't sustaining free education. Who will be an Adam and some family. I am not any almost that. 7 years ago, one can say, maybe another Dankwa a Kufu, another Dr. Mabuzba, another line tremate, another Ufuriata, another Mimpo, Kusibuafo, Nkusi, and maybe I am premium. If you can, I marry. Can you walk around here? May na none. And more brow for 80 and ever. Then you say, Ama, make a good no be any idea that I could want to buy. Honestly, let me tell you, even if I could walk though. will live longer. I can't even simple. Sabi, I can't even simple. Yeah, no tea. What the other papa be boy in Chilima. I was so bit because I see who quite. Now, the enemy September, one so see.
A question when I am a question any more than I am a depa. Na ye chirimuchirang. Nothing, Yamram, if you say, yes, and the air country. Finally, we'll dwell on the way forward. See if it may be beautiful. Was say, is Ghana facing a crisis? Am I don't know one can fully frequently asked questions? No. Is Ghana facing a crisis? I've heard here. Why, you know, a year bold. And yes, although not fully blown, the whole world, including Ghana, is facing a crisis, although each country is at a different stage. Countries like Ghana are at an early stage, while Sri Lanka have a fully blown economic crisis. To quote the IMF managing director, and this is the direct quotation, and I quote, to put it simply, we are facing a crisis on top of a crisis. First, the pandemic, it turned our lives and economies upside down. And it is not over. The continued spread of the virus could give rise to even more contagious or worse, more lethal variants, prompting further disruptions and further divergence between rich and the poor. Second, the war, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, devastating for the Ukrainian economy, is sending shockwaves through the globe, unquote. Yea, also Ghana, your crisis, a full blown, as anything.
I just say, yeah, what you say? Now, and can't enter.
Just say, Yadiana did you, Nanka enter her.
There be a bed ready.
Oh,
Put him in and take a hospital.
I
Ghana to say, car any accident. Not there or no dear. Then you should have what put me a church in the say in the bar. Any what dear. Kaja, any what they will photo. And Ghana, it reach you at least. Baby for I think I'm catching baby for our sunlight, air top petrol. Ghana, yes, sunlight. Gas, yes, sunlight, and toga. Ediane, yes, sunlight, and top. Even though, yes. Now, me what I see, for no their car, the petrol boy, thing. Or the guy was talk out, automobile phone, the petrol, and also the boy coffee. It is I made with me 2 car. What you have there? The counterpart or Afghanistan. So don't see a teacher. Well, what did last the whole day? When you brew and more half a bag and toy.
Hey, Obidia Yasinibi.
Obidia Yasinibi. Ghana, the end there. Now, Ghana, Crano, who to 2 and near one crop, a better the in a car.
I'm a crab, and no crab would you dream me. Me buy ye na me say me baba ya o hai abena free ma bankro ofre yabe this is the free assisted one and I'm so na dey on sell for me a oji sika 3 cities and o dey free me ho etimi kokoto aduane gale aje ngugu so 3 cities de bre me bija kakrakra ma eya kwada ye soma ano and na me say majali I was a brother, my brother, but Giada Sema, Ubi Antim said, Brother National, I could see me can Ubi Jimachini, Jimmy Pese, Ababa no serve women who are mechanism, Wadaroma, Abna, Kuzibu Fujinaso, go back, go back, Missika 10 cities, Ujia, Yanikoto Gobeno, and Sister saying, and I'm what they bring me.
Yeah, the 6 cities nearby.
Explain it into 6 cities.
Governor 3 cities and a park no 1 city. 4 cities.
And I got bring me a question.
Dabi, my mini ko sibu akumi. Ewure won jantro.
That's how you be able to do that here. And did not have a person be a question.
We are not about
baby or give me about talk over.
Me 6 cities in a down kutami. Me 6 cities in here. I could sibu afu Roma. Aduane gade 3 cities and you go pack 1 city mommy je you na message di we enwanwa
young man, I would say Ghana. No, let me be very honest. Well, yeah, and our background, no, can say, you see, you crown. If I be true and run you, now me baby, I be a friend. If you know, can say, you are a fool more, me garden, but feature head, yeah. That may be a barrier, who fear Tazi, a dear brew, a dear catty, a dear Nkuma, a dear board here. And also 200. They were full. And I'm making one, no work as a you. And no can say, crab, 2 in Catini. I can brew be a man, no, I'm married. Yakas, what we know, we are make what was and sign them to be car as I was when you so, Ghana, if you were hold one, life for Noah, the person you maintain, you need supporting income to maintain such a life. A brilliant. You can't manabro yes. Ya fear who say be being say and send fata ye. Ya broso. Na odine sa one fear be be how. The woka so could ye obi wo ho no mo a obeka che say adentin na wo at your level who could this aduane na wudi no for city. Ono da ka do pen say level awo wo no for status symbol. Restaurant e kura no ya de your friend say and he for the go. Or level, but we all cotton. I did think, we are what me are putting. I can say, aha, or what to car. Yeah, what them and the car for or the quadration car for. We to catch ready say, na car with the what them want you. Car the bear 1 year. Watch it. What you know, what one was general be changing. So the agenda. Na utotemo room America kasi asambi womu gane me bread wakati le mo se kwa na mi gane pa chipu me ford no baga na monton akwa bi bai ne hu su biri wo pato wo de hu be wo o dia na no ne petro na be da bobra be da na ho nkire wo be da na wusu kubesu eti your lifestyle no and so aha ye a false status symbol. Any cry, you need supporting income via a back. I had that university campus. I got it. Or share my woman, you man down for and the type of cars that woman, you know, woman use so. Indian, tell me, put on the way you demand that. It is only for we are, which is say, Uber, you must say, and I will be here, our public sector. And then I won't yet. And I'll be quiet. Honorable, oh, mommy coupon, and I'm telling you, may I tell me the 50%. And one tell me, never dear coupon, what do we can't have a test can be grammar, my compare, Bobbia, who can be a wet dear with the coupon. What would they not in it? A lifestyle is so a higher as a nation, a hope, and I was here moderate. So, this is a DB, I don't know. What's the income? 40%. And what is for the according low, Atoka, our them can't yet what the Edumon. To know the court, no tofu, who do know the court, no tofu,
or Sumacano.
I for why did the only way near that, and I'm there. And took us a free education by identity, free fuel, so bad now. I just said, Opam Quasiano, what say I want, Labo, Nagana, no, your idea. And I only large generation. Oh, and you might be what?
My refugee, you warm more IMF on 37 questions. Now, you may economics lecture, I had answer 37 questions. I'm watching in my mind. Now, Oka said, be a Oka, Oka say a year trade surplus. Now, Uchri mo say, ye no ma, ye de kwa manoneno. Tika ye nya ye no. E do so sene, e no ma ye kra ya, ye de amanonisika ekoto e de ba hase. Na Oka ye na fedie. E de mi besi asemi so. Ebusuafo mo nhyane so say ye no owura kusibuafo. Or ye chief executive officer of the public sector reform na edin komo san economist. Ena osan ye amateur farmer. We na China to we se wosu behwemu a omo exporto enorma to the tune of just say $200 billion and omo de aba Africa and womo foreign direct investment in Africa so and nam say under $3 billion and omo foreign direct investment omo de aba enti enei tiesi akwakofa Africa Continental Free Trade ediaba nese ye ho ano ye betimi a produce norma na ye de atena Africa haya na atoto a in your mind emfaso de be free mo beba no anything
Oh, sir, the best. Europe, Europe, no, sir, they trade among themselves. Africa found the lowest rate of trading among themselves. When it comes into international business, you need a way of any need. And the Amuchereba. Maybe Amuchereba. The near your home is bigger than a year. As they say, the international info will be a gabisa. Because agriculture, no more tongue, a yimaye, energy. Energy no more tongue mine, for selling. A married deal, no, meaning I acquire for selling. Nanko one in larger quantity. Thank a whole woman and go say a film more. Yeah, that's why. As I said, the name ada a phone a cocoyeno. The business is there. And Brofono shed that and say that Africa is Africa. Almost fire collectively as one. And that Europe is Europe. Almost so far, almost there. The Europe, I want to buy. Obi to make come obi bail out. A one conditions increase the watcher. Ireland and only here. Germany come out musica. A wound you only at the idea. Meaning, now you're very concessional. Obu bail out. The whole Portugal, when you have come with that. So Obu bail out. I am very concessional. European Union with common currency, European Central Bank. Also, European Central Bank. So instead of them going to IMF, I want to call also IMF. Call European Central Bank. Africa, African Central Bank will become named and so bono of we have why. The NASA Continental Free Trade here, Airbnb, Basui. Of course, now a Jumano, India, meaning idea a Boa Africa, papa. Ama the entire continent. I don't believe it to the African Central Bank nominate Saniama when were established. Now, the best that's what provided negotiating front. Amaye, common material be more cotton one. Near me fan of 4 star. Now you are kind of buying abricos. A bipa cocoa. Yeah, special a bia, and the cocoa farm. The cocoa, we are saying bono, a teba. When they say, then you produce a and come together. The ancestor, your budget special premium. Here they are my farmers. A form of insurance. Meaning, that unit because yes, you can already come we are successful. Yeah, why? It's only a man get away, the papa, and it mean my Diane Bosta a ye. Or that, he beat his Niger, Southeast Sudan, any other country, Mali, no, Yemen, Djibouti, those countries, pushing bad there. Diane woman, they import several billions of dollars of maize and other millets and other from South America, any other countries ever. Yes, you may take it full advantage. Yeah, you know, I'm not so almost pay. Me, my export to Anka, and the Akobo for soda. It means the American. Yeah, Oko Piwa, Ghana for a debayere ABP. Ghana for a do way ABP. We are almost more no Kuru for what they are back. Yeah, okay, just said I idea I say. Yeah, just suggest you know so across with here be no. We are the papa ebeba. So sometimes the credit to be crack or batter. Europe or Omoya no Marco be batter. They do Russia, and they are closely connected to that of the year. The value chain, the supply value chain, Russia and Ukraine is playing a very significant role. It is no money energy, no money free Russia, no money at the Adeba. In Russia, Aquateho, Kate almost also so near the Adeno, that idea much about. It is almost so far more. That is why they are betting Ukraine over £1 billion from more than talk. It is not to normally way gravitate so a year very necessary. Say, one person war no and then 10. And these are best tranquility the entire Europe. So it is that united front to there. Meaning a year. Now African Union no can yeah but this time not there. We use a dear corner there. Bit nearly even into very common currency. Quite bit across Africa. In
Joe Ura Kusubuafo yada wasene nkyiremu a wode abrɛ yɛn na we no obisimi musa na na me free say nka menya yanka me musa nti wo be reserve the right to answer sa question we say one a esusuo say yenyi ye finance minister die no na afei nso so yenyi chairmanship of the economic management team in free vice president in Semono. What you know what I'm saying?
They will see kind there. Maybe that's almost it. One and I did say former president John Dramani Mahama,
I and a Dominic be a necra dear. A fence MPP for any big class so eka.
I am 1 year, I would be born former president John Dramani Mahama. And I'm a good okay, you know, near the Amasa, not a pepper bed.
No, Nasa Tepe, when media for Casa one day.
When media Casa, not Russia, the Ukraine, a giant of
what should the union?
The Tepe so almost call, only ye said Tepe, the Dr. Kwasipo, and for I am.
Sir.
I set up a nominal in the choir. Since you chromo conocran set up a cast, Nadia choir, the Copadia. It's the negotiation team, no Dr. Kwasiboki, any dear anymore, and yes, set up.
Into when so I when so I can ya, Gabi Ochida, as so say, or no, a year, Canoforiata. No one is so much enthused about going to the IMF. And so the back really did stop with the president. And the president decided to obey no into almost also attached. And then you can say,
President in number. Now, we a leader. You are a shepherd and a butcher at the same time. Who would you a new home? Maybe will be a new home. What they are saying? Maybe a Odaso Daya, a wet chipper. And I want to wish. And wafa woman and they were more about it. It's a coach here. For the prayer, people, but to me, I can't prayer in your they be from few minutes. Woman, Yashabu Kuranoa, that prayer, and no redeem. Now, feel the Anisiaba. And I will check the nature of the problem. That problem will. And your problem, a free finance minister. Nanya woman, vice president, Yana, your IMF, woman, ye, every moon. And no, dear, what is what we call car said, you're ready. It's a COVID, Yaba. It will be the COVID in devastated the entire world. Now, what would Musania Mani in idea? We need so rough at the Pepper minimum of he is a professional. obi a oye eyi okeka ne nsem ba heart ni ade de ono de me de be che no. But I don't think it will come from over September.
Enti 1 year womu susu say NDC akọ IMF because of mismanagement of the economy. Na MPP there akọ IMF because of the crisis as you enumerate no. Uno mo ya adwene nya sa.
Me no obo ya de. Hospital pro no anu e da ho. You go pay for the SS. Omo e ma pe de do ma kopio. Omo ensa de do ma kopio. Omo aka abofo de do ma kopio. MPP there no. Omo aka abofo omo. Oti baby aka ati free. Ana da baby a odina kunya accident. Ena odina kopio.
NDC there na.
For insani ya tu kwa Wednesday. Worries down when you kidney problem. And walk a copy the same.
Antimity asie yi a NDC for 9 year Corinsen near worrying sama affecting the kidney. Any of the coma doctor. And MPP the end there cabin abon from Quanta.
Abra from Catania did not possible. Woman at the hospital. Now, Oma Contra woman. Woman drew MPP for one on Becca said, oh, Cafra, Nana Draba Nabura na. Bra, ye with their own poor one. Oh, Draba, a sign, Draba Nabro, a sign, you know, so. Oh, Cosrano and Overcan said, you two for now went to the swamp of Dabina. Oh,
sir.
Yeah, Canada can't see a DD pro. What would you want to hear? And some like a photo sano.
Yeah, damn on the yes, and you know.
I would you go to be from
it's where they just MPP for instance will be a new more.
Damn, MPP the other day. Emma Russia, and you can yanto, and I confidence so rabbi. Now, your mom by yourself. The answer say afe pepepe. Na me there you no. In the bear afe the fan. A different story. And the engine I can. Ubo say Oma won't see you on my Oma the Rebecca said, Yemfa or Sambra. What you say?
Nanti say, oh no, reshuffle ya ya tin wonder that they won't support us say reshuffle.
Reshuffle there, your president no and only reshuffle. Even
Ababa wait baby e kwasa afini yema ntina wa asa reshuffle bi ama.
Maybe very level president is them. So na me kusi bo afokra na makofa or how we aba. Obetimi apam ya makot na tro ba do me buy the food.
Ai. Every say enura oni industry captains share ye, business executives share ye no. Now on the other paper no, I was say GIPC, UOP grant wakasa we are na Kenofuriata eso akasa Kenofuriata kasa we are na Alanche Martin akasa Alanche Martin kasa we are na Ghana mampanyina akasa ya twiro ye nyina pampen eso Kenofuriata no show ada ne buafu
dimension konse be kura o pẹ̀lú no dey free wa e nya me na organize
we dey udika
what the na yimba maybe there bia ne some catch us me buy area we can 10 mobile better bia bibi say to see we as nipa there wetimi aplan dey be nya to do on na bia asem bi e de no ho aba be you say the boafu say the bomfu ya me ko si boafu aso ba dey say nya bufu esem o man ye nyina ye tete ye wo say nyina ye kabo wo say ase and ye tete nya great the having any say near foot and Dema Ghana for say Ghana for Jessica. The first religion is your country. Now no me there will be people fun. Where the cop, where they are every book, now where they are you could say wow. But people have forgotten that the first and the best religion of this world is your country. Asana dia kada toto. So when you tax, my own mind. That would be via own mind sika. Na so be cause heavy am ni. We are some hard that. Eti ya na no mo ya hemfo. Pa wo mo ton sa se. O mo be kwan yo be fa so a. obetumi ama ban sika no bi yɛ de akyekyere wɔ ban
Yo.
saa nso so ɛna yi levy obi a wɔbɔ aso sɛ ɛntia your country first sika na wuni bia yɛ a na mmiri biara no woka prɛkorɔ afiri tɔfɔ bɔ a na wobu mpotubaa ɛfa so akɔda aduane ne yi fie ɛna no odi a wohuru bi ɛdɛ fam ɛtɔ yɛ ano afa atafe wahu sɛ deɛ sisi deɛ odi mu ahwi agu biara na kyɛ sɛ aduane wɔ fie ɛno ti ɛne ani bere ɛmo ɛne ɛyam eti yɛnhwɛ yɛmmɔ mmɔden yɛn resources so country no Ghana for slow tax tia efiri mi nananom pɛn so na lampo wɔn fira no kwasi ade wu wɔn da no kɔtɛ ewira mu ya na wɔn ti bɛn na wɔte ɛda mbusa ase nana lampo no yɛ sɛn sɛ enuru koko kɔta bag kura
Ai, we dey say Kwame Nkrumah kokoda Kumasi Central Prisons after 51 no. Na oda hɔ no yɛ de Jacobu hine baaye. Nana wada Roma na edie ne yɛde aba beto ato so bu asɛm a ɛte hɔ nom. Adan a yasoma yɛnkɔgyegye dampo ɛyɛ lampoin ɛwɔ Jacobu a na Jacobu mrante kwa ɛne mabaawa including Afiepoku ya fem lady na wɔn matimi apai ɛyɛ lampo gyegyefoɔ yi aboɔ pa wɔn aboɔ pa wɔn abɔ na broni nso ma ayɛ sɛ monkɔe na monkɔ kyekyere ɛyɛ mrante kwa a wɔ ɛyɛ Jacobu hɔ mra enti ɛde de wɔn nyinaa bɔ river fin so na nam Jacobu akyire hɔ ɛna de wɔn nyinaa kokogu wɔ fin mu a yɛdi dwane yɛ enti nso obi no to dame na sɛ o sumfidie na wotom no wodi aba ne toa so bɛyɛ sɛ enum anaasɛ nsia ɔsɛmɛyɛ ɔsɛ Jacobu when no hene no kogo hia Kwame Nkrumah ɛwɔ Kumasi Central Prisons 51 a yɛkyi a wɔde ne fa anyɔnko
was was what we are the first one to back on the heaven you need to cut you the ano who be perfect eti la polu te ata won bi abetena you mu a atofo no mo ayi die tu free mu na yen kan kura hyɛ na yen sema Ghana for say enkwala no aye hwɛ wo da ti obi nim de obaji obi so na the Danko Akufo the president of Ghana wa born home modern said ono depends on pesakora bi ko school ebe hieska ene de amankwala no akọ school na daachi wo mo so asia ba bebe ebi kura daachi ko bi na ekọ head IMF yi ayeke bi na ekọ akọ head World Bank yi ayeke unim daachi ebe si se ko fi anan eba ye UN Secretary General sanso so ene kakra yan build wo mo capacity na daachi wo mo di nim die ni nyansa ene o man ho do atimi amuvu Ghana for that the great mission of Ghana beyond aid, you know, minua abem.
Free senior high school, no, efficient and is it not a burden on public funds?
At the papa be a burden. Remember, me, who pay me school fees, you know. Bet me a catch it out say, and Toma, no, not bet me a kind and Toma. They a burden. For quantity, I'm on. No, yeah, Eddie Engineer woman.
Hey, Edo, Eddie Engineer woman.
Fine. No, I saw. No trouble, dear. Santia Smithsubua at the bar, Briku, and the 37. You, I saw. Why, I believe in the back of Briku, and then what you could see Buafo. And they could see Buafo now of fairness. Yana, mammy, they be quiet and to my crop. That's no. I've had the entire public sector of Ghana. The bar or also 10 any case, you know. And so Abrewa a project coordinator of the World Bank for public sector reforms. And I mean, we did the year, the baby still no man a young corner or say, me what my media, the iron no and Kadaya.
Neta o catch the matrin alanche matrin so abode na okoda na sede
oh me da se ba me kai pa o mo te ba ma send message ta come from this year wo mo ni wo nyira kasa me da wo mo nyira se oh na ka abrewa onko sojada onko prosika anworo mo no tetete asante atuma subua ne nipa chocho no mo nyina sanaye sante na military chopper aba beti kurom ho say clean
abebom futura gu nananom so
aba be hono a wo ma ba be nenam kurom wo menua na ye wo die enso so na ye
eya animonyam
che na alakodo che ma tia be bonsa na chief of staff ne ne crop for me kocha vice president esi na ye na ya bodi the president ne ne crop for na de ade bo nyina ta wo mo bodi ya abraku tuma nipa onabo abraku osme nipa intim osme nipa akoma o mo nyina na bo
aye ni ba na aye kase wo kuma so wo de no so ba pa
me de no ba ya and sabodi e ba ya no e free say esubu akuru ba ya obi ni ho a waje Peter won se di fitie
na we wo kan so abode no wo ma wo yire tena wo nchen
dadie e kan ya na me ma me yire nta hu aje se be kan ni
over Thomas me so wo ba titin kontom rebrem why
ma te di bi da pe
ma me kontom re na kwa nsusu akakra ana fe no wape eye apem oni ababi do hono na ja me fa ntwim nyame nhyira wo ene 1 hour 20 minutes of your time odi ama o man ma ede wase pa
kam ho no ni munya aduma
weye achia ne mu yo kusibu afuse eja NDC fo edie ugoto no hospital ho no mu a awe nsa na ne kidney ni kache so hono wa hono ka wo ba busuan wa hono ka ba busuan ye ka wo si wuntie no dabi 100.9 FM ene eye Kunu Ghana na odi products be brede abre na products awode abano particular household no de boamo se we yoba na ehia masosisi ohun yie na enoma koyie de ma de a odi araba bazin pills na odi brewo se obi a okuta painful cramps during menstruation nyina no odi eye Kunu Ghana odi araba bazin pills no de boawo ansa ene koko wie se we ye be ma so na se eye prostate disorder bia na and also so or the honcho capsules and or the airbow ansa and so lie by do any here my so reasons so there or the kill Mr. Kill and also so at the airbow ansa and a cane tablet utia for no I catch us a ni normal and concopa lifestyle a bema or pressure what me akwakonya bi ni nyina ne say cane tablet and or the boa into no Kunu Ghana with me a friend on 024 413 9176 024 413 9176 020 413 9176 020 413 9176 027 413 9176 Ora Victor Pashiado no ehwinu ne beso nsuo aswane men na okobo ne feyi ase kachi se debi na behunu ase andi sifo ne de na eyensa na omawe e na omu kidney enya eye problem ana say a problem ana ye de omakoto hospital MPP de ne de no kwani omo de ne de chese card abo omo e de do bakwakoto no Victor what to say
ADAKABRI Yamiadom Divine Selection at Media. I'm saying media said that my children.
Yamiase
Mechia also we.
And when your papa so am na mo
Mechia weti fo nyina ewie. Na me ngonwa say even though I met hey NDC ni pena me nkwana metia MPP for ne ebia omo invite omo nyambae. And so wama penso ayegusu womi up to now wama that's ibre kwama wagusu aye propaganda egusu kasa to save this government of the day. I'm just surprised at you. Na me bisa a question ADAKABRI. Enyuma obo sisi ye wo se de me na oboma.
Me ka say. Could you buafo say?
Cause the opposite is true. Me one was me na ubisa me say me yesterday me hwini beto so. And a day, a car, what's a media day?
Cabin ball. What's not say, a latribble?
And I have read like I'm beside cow, mommy crying. And mommy, a bisa, kusi buate.
I could see buaf.
Kusi buafo. Now, guess how mommy crying, me tea here, waki can walk a cake in I. Now, can miss maybe send the question back. Say, and in your beer, time na. Your core IMF, the first one. I'm talking about NDC Abresodian. What was his stance? Senior Kasa ne regarding this particular one. What was his stand at the time? Is it the same way he spoke? Na anyenyebia just few weeks or few months ago, and last year, and the last 2 years, and the second term. Before even after the second term of Abaino. And someone na a fee on my penny and num. Any vice president or the head of the economic management team. And in that same no kafa IMF con. What has he to say about that? And finally, Yedi Mirika Putupru Echo IMF. A ding asemna kusi Krachia and Abraya only didn't come. What has he to say about that? And no hear me Katsepanka, Ubisa, no, they went to me and Bisano. And what were you justifying? Me senior, me brother, ADAKABRI, what were you justifying with Gobeno? Neither I will justify. Are you saying, say, the economy today, no, hey, normal, and the omu complain is a headache, no. And the crowd to me koto beans, gabins, 4 cities and not 3 cities. I'm a 1 man. What are you justifying? I don't know bibisa o kakra. Na kaminu this and komoy. What are you people? What are you justifying? Gonna vote you pa. And then what the vote to? Just 1.5 hours here. And me I demand me say member at 2 p.m. Me bet na before 2:30. Na metie guest na woni ne din common na kama me kwan once anka me pre time my mama say membra ha no metie ni ono kan na kwa me kwan mama bisa the question back up na so wa me kwan da and no na me feel say you have not been fair to to me the NDC and the entire Ghanaians ewie ye kan wuntie debi na obehu ya ni omu eden de boa me oba na koyin me we be saying we dia we free. Now we make dia o when mu be so nsuo wa and you move Mami tie nyum ni biom. Sa mami tie nyum ni. me bo enyumu yama His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Baolaya. The Vice President of this country. Me bo enyumu yama. Because ono ana sema waka. Apawa bebre wa. Anka minya e na anka me de bia ma o. Se wo mo de a. Then you should be playing to serve as a deterrent, as a example to the current government, the leadership. Just yesterday in some Mukai about IMF. And in Yabia, what is the NDC? We have chat.
Yakwashe Adonu ena okase.
And you de me sure pass Obama, the president of the land, and his vice president. To be honest with you, ADAKABRI, minya no. Nan kampempe so ayedui. Once IMF and Abanya decided so bekon. Nan ka oman penin Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And kodie ni die bema Ghana for. Edi kan kese eba be catch Ghana for say yesrem yan yesi yen na so ya den ya bon ana yetu anamon bone na mon fanche yen edi kan ansampo na adwin say ode be call IMF no like he goes to that, he moves to that direction because nanse yen answer na fi kra be wi na buying. And for that matter, the finance minister, Ankayi Levy cry is the Messiah, is the savior of Ghana economic crisis. Aye, woman. Me boana, ADAKABRI me boa. Eden futoni amfa bay. What didn't we say? Eden pa sika nemfa bay.
Delay ade na ma ade nyina paska.
Why na delay there?
A minority for.
Ye delay then.
The passage of the E-levy.
Has it been passed finally? Was it passed after all? Answer na modi share, ye share E-levy, the share budget team Ukraine. Ghanaians were not informed about it. Later now, but for the minority, Ghanaians will not even know the details of this E-levy. Finally, then they told us they were going around the 16 regions. Omukobodero at church E-levy, Senebea Ghana for Betiasia. At the end of the day, to be called how many regions? Just 6 of them. Finally, it's been passed. The Ekain Yinechi. Ya pass it. And then is the Savior Messiah. The deputy finance minister was in parliament the last time. Say IMF there and ya diombe tuomunesi what da. And E-levy will do the magic. What has happened today? Don't Ghanaians deserve to say? One more bonting, did the humble pie. I catch a Ghana for say, yen yes, he say nanso, and I'm all ye 2 years to the year. Yes, Ramo Fanche. Before say, ye be call IMF Yankiako. Ye be an one here, Cassa say, and ADAKABRI. Ye the current situation, economic situation at Ghana womb. I they say COVID-19, mewa. And then Ukraine what? Russia and Tokwa Homoko. So say crowd effect a war between Ukraine and Russia and the effect na Ghana so saying Ukraine and Kasapo.
I know some come my acquisition a year mpaboa akọ bobo akọ Scotland.
Highly unfortunate. Minia, near Kokaswa, ye be no near the Yahoo compare that of US, Afghanistan, the would comparison, Mr. Kusi didn't commodity. What about our neighboring countries? Togo away with Cote d'Ivoire, away your side. One way or the other, are we not seeing what effect? COVID in India and Geomubi. So a purely mismanagement. Minya bema sikapudua afa abayin some right from the timer omoba abayimu abesine. Adakabri na ye kaya de and I kaya loan and I kaya de omaimu na about 122 billion. And sana ye de your friends are bengway. Emma, His Excellency Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo. Mebwana. And then Yakaya Dena Akoduhe. It's hitting 400 billion. What have they to prove? What have they to show for it? Sad time na His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Waso. Na busuya na onuabo somewhere in the ranges of 56 to 60 billion. Minuoti we have ye niema ye di ensa be kire so akase dio ino ye we no ye ebini terminal 3 ebini expansion of tema port mpacho mebwana ebini hospitals ayesisi aban ba mfiensia sikapudu afa His Excellency Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo aban sem hospital ba kokura na last night interview health minister oko parliamentar ye nene edin ebun kro edin komono ye bizarre say hospital ahin no omo ba ban mu omo asi o se ba kokro mu nsi ye na cheap compounds. This is what we're talking about. Agenda 88 and I say 88 hospitals during COVID time. You see any within a year. Where is it? Later 88 hospitals no amatamorphosis to Agenda 111 hospital ba ahin yet me see we can boast of well. What didn't we talk about? Ye be anwa say COVID ADAKABRI COVID ibai in 2020 ADAKABRI the whole 2020 year unimeka ya bo ya aban account for so mo about COVID. It's in the ranges of about 8 billion in 2020. 2021 I'm say around 4 billion thereabout. Meanwhile sika yenya ayenye sika yetua ka ye ka yetua. Are you with me? Our COVID is in the ranges of 20 billion. So the effect, COVID effect I have on this economy. Any day. When it comes to your target, your revenue target, now you're targeting for 2020 during the COVID period. You meet your target. We even went beyond. This is what we are aware of. And say obi the share COVID. Say enu na ama ye economy atetia pansam na. Me know who ADAKABRI, we a seasoned journalist and also a reputable lawyer for that matter. Me started your radio so. And you know, to be honest with you, aban number. Be penso amudi ya betui. Message also back to me aka aban number na. Have they lived up to expectation? What didn't they tell us? Meanwhile, before even COVID, in 2019, now the economy was already heading towards a ditch. And ADAKABRI, unimpa, and yemina me kachiro. Say, this economy was already started. In 2019, and then you be 2020. The BBI near the Asha COVID. BBI has the Ukraine war. It is highly unfortunate. In any case, and this internal baby and cancer, and IMF called hello, a taboo and a crime. IMF now NDC call in during His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Bresson. Adakabre, there were issues. Niyama isisi. Oka sisi I was saying, yeah, IMF na yeah. Kusi say me pesa oka me no say. O say na yeah what then. Ya we nsa. Ni ye ka dumso. Dumso has been something a war system. His Excellency Diewu Kufuor J Kufuor Abreso Dumso Eden Ebai, and he was cautioned. Say ya nye bibi amfa ho a ebe West no ye bibi fa ho. He didn't solve it. Ya nye hwe ya ebedu His Excellency Atamos Abreso. It also came up. Ya si nye bibi mfa ho enye say ebe West during His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Abreso, and the thing became something else. And not seeing a book say, Obetu ase. Answer obe fear by him, obe making sure so obetu ase. So there were sacrifices we need to make. ADAKABRI uji tums at that time, no so now West African gas pipe. Okay. So there was a problem. And then I know say the trouble gas out of Sika. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is it not there helping the country? This government should tell us 1, 2, 3 issues are things are omo baya omo sikadudu efa omo nsem omo aya ene omo de bomb asa for hini ene it is as a result of mismanagement and edu pepper so ayedu utie omo nkrofo. I learned the director of communication our Ashanti region was here very useless to go to IMF just recently no cancer. His the MP the Kennedy Honorable Kennedy Japan and then no can say was here then no munsan kabium because going to IMF is like what handing over power to NDC without what a contest. What didn't we hear from all these leaders? Where is the vice president? I don't know, Mama and country and say, why does he now see going to IMF a possibility? So, to be honest with you, where we have reached now in this country, the president of the country by now should have first and foremost speak to the nation, asking for forgiveness on behalf of his government. Ansana mpempensusana moya womutu ene yomutu. And ADAKABRI, IMF omunya baya no nchezo baya no yisi kama wo. Afini ebe konkrata. Womuni aban ni ba bedin pita ho. No omuni all other stakeholders as far as the economy is concerned. Ebedin komo. I'm talking about the minority side. They will speak with them. They will also speak to other very important stakeholders. In a nutshell, Niema Bebraban this year, that was even some of the cooked figures in 2019. Your debt to GDP. Now they were telling us it was in the range of 4%. Almost what? It was somewhere 7.5 at the time. I think the international world came out to expose them. And the coming of IMF Neno, within the weeks, the months ahead, ADAKABRI, the rot in this government will be more exposed for you and I to see. And the mini abema kusie 1.5 hours opportunity what the year propaganda MNPP no abino. I don't think this is the kind of language answer by this time. Yede koyenim ADAKABRI. Kobe 3 cities na wudi no so. And no chese ukobe bia, that is how it is. E bia na minu aba no okoto abre wenne no. Baby okoto no. Nipa or toniti. And bia o that favor. When you go out there, situations are not the way we are talking about it here. It ADAKABRI de kakra meka regarding IMF nyabon sam obi eni wa NDC yankasa wansem o mokekae wansem eni adapa o mudi twa IMF eni nsem ayenka And IMF institution, they said all that with a lot of insults. And no, how many homes? So what do they have to do? And then there's somewhere they need to come out and apologize to Ghanaians, and that is what I'm expecting. To start with, as we move on.
Mama, IMF,
What's it, John Mama? Eddie call IMF. Near man, ACC at the time when Tia call IMF. John Mahama came out openly, and John Mahama was able to tell us the state of the economy at the time. And he called, okay, see a consensus. Me so kai so ye consensus.
We clear hatin opacho.
Opacho so why
So didn't I say a Kufado no some patch?
I didn't hear so no patcho and say one make my tia says IMF kono a bunsem gem. One, that is one. Secondly, one me chance etia says Sikano de waha.
It is Sikaso.
Now so enna maban bo boninti accommodate. And anka if bab bosuan bokra na nka nyomo priority because Sikano wa. Paumia kache the vice president eka etia says why ye juma ewo den Bank of Ghana into onim se Sikana eden. Ewa. Oso odwen ne ho. Oye sure so odwen ne ho. Odwen ne ho ansem onu aka enra na power na ebone. Me ma oba ko na bodisia.
Yeah.
So be ma me aboa. Ni oka o ewo ha ya ma me fa mo nebo. Den ka obebo ama me nke be me de pa.
Manya bi kon.
Adakabre enye me na menya bi ka o. Na aban na nkasa na akofa akọ to sa problem ya dey amane ho any.
This is why we got into the IMF. You were spending too much relative to revenues, which is true. You were borrowing too much, which is true. Your external payments position has deteriorated, which is true. And so you ended up, your growth is reducing, which is true. So you ended up at the IMF, and the IMF would impose certain conditions, which is true. And if you don't do certain things right, the anchor will not hold, which is true. So I'm not quite sure what it is that is not true that I said, but I think unfortunately the supporters of this government and this government itself are very reluctant to admit the truth, even when it hits them in the face. Yeah.
True. Thank you about that.
Adakabre is the opposite true. It is the anchor holding today. It's on one power. And you're John Mahama deal. And exactly all what John Mahama opened his mouth and said at the time. And then he's looked like an angel. He's totally vindicated. Kasemebwa, we are seasoned journalists. Minimum power. So person we are fair power. And can then the woman could see in Kauman. That's what Adakabre, is that not what the vice president speaking? Vice President Kroya Mamenewotie as you say, Anka ye levy there and yada. Imposition of ye levy as a tax. Or say, or can wow station, or can wo sister station, our Peace FM. Say, and yadia, a ye a beboa, into another on Faso. Now, so he was still the head of the economy management team at the time, and they implemented it. He should bow his head in shame. And by this time, like I expect the vice president, the leadership no our economic management team on one case case or did he bread at all. Flag bearer. And I'm saying na power one here mano. Will be playing his own tapes to him. And all what he said at the time, Adakabre, and what has happened? Is it no worse off? Is it no worse off the kind of money that has passed through this government hands and nothing to show? Adakabre, 1 million, one constituency, no, miniaba, o constituency, ebiaba, 1 million. $1 million, one constituency. One district, one dam. And one village rather, one dam. Dams near CC, me know were they not dug out? A serve the purpose. Is there no wastages? Is that not what your friend is saying? Sika ya tutu egu. Any mismanagement. ADAKABRI loans be buying a contracting. Percentage and a commission. I command the your friend is saying the finance minister on one company. Was it Makabi? Was it Mikabi? Nami Kabi na meboa. Aya no kwese on one company a beneficiary to bonds ya jeje wo man mu nyina. Since obey your friend is saying finance minister. Is it true? Sameboa ka kire me sameboa wo ka se Mikabi no. Sen ka meboa wo be ka se wo boa. Minimum. Some percentages now according to futu mu onu aboy jina parliament e kan say sika dudu a ono data bank enyani. At the end of the day say sika no what they to futu onu mu a anka is that no conflict of interest? Country ben anka we ye bekoso ADAKABRI. So it is about mismanagement. Any sika die left, right, forward, center. Eno na ama ya bedum pempen so ayedui. It is obede. And IMF ayeko e de she your friend is saying COVID-19 a sine who and as ye de share Ukraine Russia war sine who ADAKABRI and uji tumupa baby a wuti akumnya na wuti suninti and unti na wuntumi emfo ameso now makusi the 1.5 hours spectrum the be gymnastic Eddie propaganda. Emma buying water. At this level, I do ADAKABRI. What I expect the posture of this government to be and our government communicators to be is a hombrassier. Enye ahomasocracy. To say minya saka ene wabai minya bako wabai. Yobabe yesi no. To be honest with you, that is not the kind of language we need today.
Anybody international cry and say,
oh, Minion, no. Say, Minim. Your poor no back at him, say, I answer Corona Benny Day. Meanwhile, at the end, Nababomo.
Money Kevin.
What's the money Kevin? Now, oh, so by one tenant simple person or no start a casa. Despite the woman could see Yenina, and guess how mommy bear 1 hour nibi. And as mommy even 30 minutes, mommy 30 minutes. Na mi ngusun kasa. This is my question. If I am no.
Kuzibu afu wesu be friend no.
Kakra mesuan de mesuan efini ho. Bebrebe oye he wasn't being realistic. Oninam efiche obusa no question ha obisa no concerning say the NDC for can and phobia can say IMF ayekon. It's as a result of what mismanagement instead of crisis. He should have just answered straight. Stand on that. Who can't say His Excellency John Dramani Mama LED from this angle? And I was also wine as I can. He couldn't answer. It is going fair to the country and fair to the nation and fair to Menewa. Like he would have answered straight than trying to do politics with the whole thing.
Okay, me am Saka am removing.
And the answer Saka bebum no. Minya. Posture. I said ne. They say near the court say ya no mom so monko. By a coy decision that could take you all. Near you put it together. And yeah, they call IMF at the end of the day. Ya no say they were going to what?
Okay,
take it off. They apply for what? For 2 years. And that period in Muna books in the fine. Saka, why I
don't know now what earlier. He's a member of the National Democratic Congress. This time around, Kwashi. I don't know.
Yes.
Now, I'm present there. Yeah, the Saka Salia and the Siso, a member of the New Patriotic Party. Saka.
Yes.
Ghana has run to the IMF. What are your thoughts?
Yo, medasi people. Mamefa kwenye wa ina menchia. Etie phone na monfa me. Traffic no too much. Number one. Who say enye say it na ko NAC ye ko IMF. Who say IMF no it say hospital. O yare na okọ. sometimes when you are crowd ultimate when you say a member of the IMF by the fact say a member of the Article 4 consultation, whether we call for a program and now call for a program, we a member until at any time be a no betimako. Sometimes we call for say yemmo sika. Sometimes we call say yemmo credibility be omunfa omusa and carry o program na nyonyambi eba mune sa nnuama no so there are various reasons they call IMF no obi betima mismanage economy na okoho just like hospital obi betimi a reckless accident na wa yare ena ede ni ko obi so wo ha o fie na dan etu pono ana o tena ne baby ena o car driver ebe tufa no ho there are so many reasons it is any pano unu hospital untimi nka say ebia or junkie ana okonum cocaine or yare na ede ne ba iti obi betimi akọ on a reason utimu say we die onye ne fault and obi so betimi akọ a who say we die ne fault who share MPP ni NDC reasons de call IMF now utimu say bako that is the NDC so time no na nuema na wiase na any problem bia wiase to say currently to say ayewo COVID-19 Ukraine Russia war no see your boy Ukraine Russia war na NDC for say David mama boss war no meanwhile John Dramani Mahama oko Harvard akoye speech or see Ukraine Russia war and COVID-19 no and my African countries economies I say and that he was saying say it will take time before betima recover yeah about 2 months ago now and do 2 months to cry and John Dramani Mahama call US Harvard eko kaye obedu kotoko international airport nan o changing anu because onim say ohono ko ho a ese onka no kure no obedu Ghana na wa ye propaganda iti uhwe NDC fo na mo say mayanka iti time John Dramani Mahama ko Harvard na adenti na mo anka che ne say ukodu Harvard a anka no kure no so wo ho no because ohono kan ukoye sa anuma no wo ha ombe pamu say ko baby say what you say iti o sheda e na okoka no kure no ba obedu Ghana ha na or the trono at the adjuma. I am saying all these things to let you know, say, 2015 I call Wayne. Now, yes, CD 80 depreciated 40%. You won't be that. Ever Ghana and ever the Fourth Republic, except during the Rawlings regime, and also your NDC government. Secondly, at the time I call IMF, no, and the NDC, no, now NDC for at the could do so move for close to 5 years. And no any national disaster. And yeah, dear, obetimi aka say yepe. Say what I say. It was because of the mismanagement of the economy to the extent say now you need any other solution other than to go to the IMF. Okay, almost yanko senchi. Now mumfa omu yanko pe homegrown policies na mfa ko IMF. Omufa nipa omu amu including mu party ADAKABRI boss boss ekwadoko omunyina ko tell us here ako fashion the homegrown policies ne sanuema no but fast forward you can say we did not criticize IMF. Let's distinguish the difference. You can't say you criticize NDC for go. No, we never criticize NDC for going to IMF. What we criticized them was nyoma na omuye ede ko IMF no and no na ye criticize it because na nyoma omuye no na they were borrowing with reckless abandon to the extent say they could borrow to the extent of calling Sasika no say idle money u borrow sika u sheda ko bobosia unim mfaso a wode sa abosia ne beye and now they got to ADB no me bank no and now they got to asan ko borrow udi sika ko to bank wan ya hwiwo and now wan ka sa bank no say sika na me de bremu no my friend idle fund and yet Juma Bia. Meanwhile, I went and borrowed the money, and then the money was accruing interest. It is as can no some problem of Busia Bium. Me and Missika made the share bank no bank for Musam from Mame as loan. Naminchia with a higher interest. So these were the things you criticize the NDC about. It is not about just going to the IMF. But in this case, you know him say one, IMF Ankasaba catch say half of the world have come for support. And you see we are finding na channel half fa about IMF say more support. At that time, I call IMF under the NDC. No. Now, anybody can tell me, say, how many countries were under the IMF support program at that time? Because it was only countries that were recklessly managed at that time. Tell us here, almost see that be you push now, yeah. You see, almost say you better na then ombe fast see tell us here, yeah, mobile to say, oh, IMF no ya pamochone sign no say mumu. That be saying kind of credit chair IMF na ye kono e yade a say yenko kenya ade a say yenko aka na na do danko akufa do on kase ye ne omo kasa because it is about the interest of Ghana and yeah about say obi aka idea we in the past because of that no yenko IMF just because if IMF ebia or detractors be can say ni he put the interest of Ghana beyond every political consideration. And that should be applauded. I think say for political reasons, what's it happy to help with whatever political reasons? Say IMF near important if it can salvage us from the situation I find yourself. Because look, in which period in Ghana history, I will be better my recounted. Actually say, you know, you close schools for almost a year or more than a year. Now hotels, I close hotels in your Jumabium. Na your ports eklosi na your land borders eklosi planes enye juma electricity ye mamu free nsuo ye mamu free na ye lockdown obi ampie obi amba obi anko. Meanwhile government was paying almost everybody. Public sector government was paying. There was no productivity but government was paying. We're doing contact tracing ye manners incentives omode ya omujuma. We were doing buying vessels. Now, we unplanned expenditure. So unplanned expenditure to the extent say nanado adanko akufa do no akaza abaji atum akase. Baby ayakono ye nyina nim say ye pese ye save lives. Two things, lives or livelihood. To say nipa ane ne dapaje. Which one do you save first? I say ye save enkwa. Ye save ye save nipa no wia afa de na bank economy because economy ne de eno de no matter what ye nim say at least yetimi ko IMF yetimi ye nuama e say ye and that was the reason why ye COVID performance we were placed 15th in the world as the best managers of COVID-19 say ye back testing. Ghana was number 1 in Africa. Number 1 when it comes to testing. And testing be as well as per capita, we overtook even South Africa. Your population and the number of contacts per capita. Ghana was the best. And to the extent say it affected the economy inside no. Omukura omunya dear to say Ghana. Look at a country like Egypt. Egypt is one of the IMF as we are speaking. Tunisia,
now neighbors.
Your neighbor Cote d'Ivoire. Oh yes.
We are sure.
Cote d'Ivoire.
We are sure.
Ivory Coast has gone for support.
Please.
So just here. IMF and IMF Musika.
Stop it.
Debbie said they went for $800 million. You see, me. They went for 800 million. Angola yes, me see. Ivory Coast went for support. 2021.
You said that and you've been correct.
Ivory Coast went for 800. I'm telling you how much they got.
Oh,
so just here. They went for 800. But you see,
member countries.
But you see,
also ultimate any support free IMF. It does not necessarily.
Yeah, but they went for support.
Ivory Coast and also 2021. There's no evidence.
Yeah, Ben Omuko. Yeah, Ben Omuko Jessica. I am telling you, sir, Omuko Jessica.
COVID actually.
Yes, COVID actually. Yeah, COVID actually.
What could do IMF?
Yes.
What could do IMF no? And yes, share assurance.
Rapid credit facility no. Ivory Coast GB.
And the assurance. Assurance I hear no. Bombardier assurance in my no justification, just assure us.
Said they what assurance?
Say yeah, IMF one no. And dear, because what say with interventions ni be a wire and that government programs.
Yeah.
Say
okay, very good.
Efficient.
Yeah.
A burden on public funds are.
Yeah, very good. When say unim the anti may answer a question, but I want to add something before. The IMF say, oh, it's not that because IMF says no advice, the way to go in this annual. But the problem is conditionalities. The conditionalities no so it has to do with the program or what they call. The NDC went for an extended credit facility. That extended credit facility now more 980 million. And they divided into three. Ultimately say it could not have done anything. We are going for we are going for balance of payment support. So that balance of payment support now because already there were your programs, there were your flagship programs. We omubeba ochina IMF team no ombeba ochina beka omu local teams now omu Ghana. We are going to negotiate. Negotiation now first of all, we will make it clear to them say your flagship programs should not be touched. ABI because Omobeka say ABI maybe free SHS Adentina Muyen say Yebeka say Dabi free SHS there a program Mamun Baho ABI Omobeka say planning for food and job Mamun say Yebeka Chrom say these are our flagship programs. It is a to me assure almost say and negotiate because it has to do with your negotiation power. It is a to me negotiate and would say programs way Ababwa say Mboy and Nekradachi. In the medium to short term, short to medium term, I don't think that IMF will have any problem. That was the reason why we say NDC for they were unable to negotiate effectively to the extent say, I mean, how can an African country be allowed to IMF? I catch them say there should be freeze on public sector employment. Namo say, oh yes sir, MPP will never do that. Say. My young employer graduates are yes.
BB and efficient. Now a burden on public funds are also will you free honor.
Yeah, so you have to prove to them say you're efficient and not burden on public
high school. Ekobase and efficient. Now a burden on public funds are. So
that is the reason why I make you say you need to be good negotiators.
Free senior high school in this current state. Who met me the
yes. Even me ako IMF I negotiate say free senior high school. The important is never. And then because it's like say oba o hwe say onyini untimi ka say oba na o hwe no or your burden on you because unim say mfaso bi won ho dachi.
Secretary tells us to say free senior high school in this current state wouldn't mean for IMF.
No, that is why he is not IMF. That is number one. Secondly, he's NDC. Secondly, he's wouldn't say NDC. Omu on build in an inordinate hatred. You see, me
the finance minister told us
I can understand.
When he was even going down.
No.
When the finance minister was going around the regions, didn't he tell people out there
this is the decision of the decision of the president. This is the decision of the president. And the president decision to persist. President decision supersedes every other consideration. So let me tell you. President, the finance minister is working on behalf of the president. Spending recklessly.
The former finance the former finance minister Setekwe is saying, say, the government of Ghana cannot go to IMF with free senior high school in its current form.
Yes.
He has
in its current form. What they promised us, the free SHS they promised us, that is not what they implemented. That is not what is being implemented now. I don't know. So he said in its current form. That is the point. That is exactly what I wanted
I am saying
to justify. Now let me come in.
Adakabri, you have to program to say
I want you to know. You don't go to IMF with your chest.
I can understand the reason. I can understand the reason why.
You need to humble yourself.
IMF, no matter IMF.
You need to humble yourself.
NDC IMF
already accept to Ghanaians that you have failed. You have failed.
NDC IMF 16 times.
Because what you told Ghanaians,
NDC
you have made us to know. Even your best times was during the IMF.
My young man opportunity. Unsamidi can say, Uko IMF wow. Bibia inefficient. Na a burden on the public funds, no. And yadia on Besos also. And then we have a former finance minister. Or say, free senior high school in its current form, and yet the government of Ghana beat Mediaco IMF. What do you think?
Let me see. First of all, let me see. I have NDC, PSHS, no, in the first place, it's advice our moment. It's not that you
started implementing progressively free, progressively
and
no
scholarship to those students.
We even built schools.
School.
We built schools.
School.
The community. Ye block.
Well done, 2023. Well done, 2023.
We promised how many? 200.
And
we had made sure that
200 and was 19 and
was
19 and failure. Was 19 and
we were able to do
19 and was
education minister at the time. 19 told Ghanaians that 47
no.
was completed according to Napo.
19 plus 23.
Tell me if I'm lying. Napo was completed. How many have you come to do? You promised Ghanaians 350. You promised Ghanaians 350.
19 and our World Bank is 23. You see?
Yes, 47. According to
it is on 42 now 47. It is 5 Mamman Casa home be brave.
No, so the point I make they promised 350.
And I'm saying okay, but
for implementing who promised 350?
Yeah, promised 350. Let me tell you the 350 assembly. Okay.
Oh, what are you saying?
The 350 was in 2012. 2012. And
President said that.
Yeah. Now it was in the 2012 manifesto. So the same 2012 manifesto.
Let's do
disabuse that mind because serial callers have been saying all these things all along.
You are using the numbers.
It was in 2012. 2012 elections. 2012 elections. No. Oh, they mami we with this. 2012 no. 2012. I will answer you. But mami
baby I drew no.
Enya kakra bi nsemo.
I was say obi atono bo ase de otifie no. ofa ababi film because
who na we control
impact 1 minute
yes
aduru ba bia ye nyina be sori no e wo bi anya bibi
yes
yes ye ko IMF ya tue bo ase ne ya tinsem bi ase
yes
Salia o final comment yes
yeah my final comments no before that no me see 2012 and yeah start 350 promise no start same year and in this is year 200 into year pa we cannot go and start with year 300 no who said 2012 no young winning power yeah but 2016 start 2016 no na NDC I started sa way no ebi mu kra having a foundation
with 350 no I avoid
it 350 no avoid
ashe
okay say you be kra NDC 200 no na you continue
okay
so what you see the final way no say
I'm continue saying
oh yeah, baby, who could get fan? I'm just gonna get fan. You see, me say over 150 something. But see, the IMF now, IMF assembly. In the bank IMF view.
What the NDC, the MPP, you community school, you were saying.
Tio, they schools no crown. Yes, see no. Uko day school nkrofo de complete no bebre nipa bebre enthusi but what the most important your focus as a country say the established schools na e wo ho no ye improve omo facilities say what you say nti uko adesadel ne we mu no all the other schools no we are built over 1,000 facilities and that was the reason why we double track no we no you face double track out
right
the IMF IMF na ekono IMF na ekono it's to the benefit of Ghana
I'm the one
it's to the benefit of Ghana
okay ADAKABRI with all respect I say me ademika ye ni o IMF kono enye kokuo enye akakabensem krasi any of the call.
Some consistent.
They will come and restructure our expenditure omo extravagant expenditure na no mo left right forward center. What they are bringing discipline into their way of spending. Into omo say IMF grab decide so on be ma musika bi no. No one who say wo musika die left right forward center
me see wrong one who say ya chase come away
you eto ahumbrase enko okay this is the time as almost take all stakeholders okay ye nyina interest ti say ne cause enti no mo so mo ye NDC for the omo freya ye beba
omo hia wa madwene
why what omo hia da and the omo be pepper tie ya ankanye bebi omo because sika for no if I this in someone ADAKABRI
sika for
ya pass them from Victor Kwashi I don't know of the NDC ya pass that Emma Sakasalia of the MPP from me ADAKABRI Mahmudu Usioma dwedie mementi na medi ho chia metrem ma biamse 1 Mame biama akwafo na panyi kwadwo da miado na produce show no na Macjerry osai agman ebo chidom na abrafrima bankro woni na ya osafo na social media handles ni nyina omohwede man but for now dear Ulakoku Michael na woba oba no dia besene akofie na ugusu na wuti neat 100.9 FM enya no mapi e de free yekofie dwumadi a Ulakoku Michael ode ebreyem